Set for a rubber match Sunday. We welcome you out to center field. Jenny Kavnar with you, and I want to wish everyone a happy Father's Day, especially two fine gentlemen as we bring in Drew Goodman and George Frazier, proud papas today. Guys, happy Father's Day.
Jenny, thank you very, very much. Happy Father's Day, George.
Yeah, happy Father's Day, and thank you, Jenny. That's very nice of you.
It's a fun day. Always a great day to look around the ballpark and see dads with sons and daughters, and we'll do a lot of that as this afternoon unfolds. Rockies got a much-needed victory yesterday, and in the middle of the storm offensively was Charlie Blackmon. Rockies were kind of nursing a 1-0 lead. Charlie went deep. He's a dynamic leadoff hitter because of his ability to leave the yard.
Well, he leaves the yard, and not only that, it's the extra base hits, too. I think that's the one thing that jumps out about Charlie. You look at his last 10 ball games, 2 home runs, the stolen bases, that's not on there, but 3 doubles. He's stealing bases now, 17 on the year. He's been caught 5 times. So let's take a look at it. What is he on first things first? That's right, the National League rank when batting first. Charlie's third in hits with 69. He's second in home runs with 9. First in RBIs, that tells you a lot about it. And second in runs scored. On the base, the guy's behind him, knocking him in. And if you look back the last couple of days for him, he swung the bat very well. The opposite field double off of the wall, then another ball out into the gap in left center field. That goes for extra base hits. He got a hanger. Yeah, well, I'll run around the bases, and I'll do it in my fashion, in my way. The RBIs are huge for Charlie. This base hit down the right field line scored Ben Polson. And the Rockies go on yesterday to win the game against the Brewers, a much-needed win. Charlie was a huge part of that. Chad Bettis was a huge part of that.
Chad Bettis was terrific. A little bit more on Charlie. One of the keys to his success is his preparation. He is diligent about film study. He's diligent about taking care of his body in the offseason and throughout the regular season. It's no mistake that he's having the kind of success he is. He really works at it.
Well, he does work at it, and I think it's you talk about preparation before the game. It carries over after the game. When you're really here in Denver, he's hydrated all the time. He's getting here and he's eating the right foods. He's doing things the right way, and obviously the dividends are huge of what the Rockies have been able to see and what Charlie's bringing to the table.
It has been good to watch Charlie Blackmon blossom as a major league leadoff man and a terrific center fielder to boot. It is Father's Day. No better place to be than the old ballpark. The Rockies and Brewers, come on back with us. We live in a special place and never get tired of looking at its beauty. Welcome to lower downtown Denver at Coors Field this afternoon. It is Father's Day as the Rockies look to take 2 of 3 from Milwaukee Brewers. They have won 4 of 5 this year against the Brew Crew, and you need the eye black today because the sun is bright. Chris Russin making his way to the Coors Field mound. Chris making his 5th start in a Rockies uniform. And he's facing a team he's familiar with because last year he competed last couple of years for the Chicago Cubs, so he has faced Milwaukee in the past. More on that in a little bit. Here's the beginning of the Brewers lineup. It starts with Jean Segura. Carlos Gomez continues to make progress, but the Rockies apparently will not see him in this series as he nurses a leg injury. Here's the rest of Craig Counsell's lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Gerardo Parra swinging the bat very well since the end of April. Ryan Braun will be next. Jonathan Lucroy had yesterday off until he pinch hit late. Aramis Ramirez will be at third base. Adam Lind will play first base. Hernan Perez will be at second base batting 7th. Then Shane Peterson and the veteran right-hander Matt Garza. Chris Russin's coming off a rough outing in Houston. He went just 4 innings, gave up 7 runs. Houston was red hot, and they took advantage of everything the Rockies threw at them over those 4 games.
First 3 ball games, 2-0, 145 earned run average. The last couple not so good. The opposition hitting their 400 against him, but he's a guy that's good. If he's down in the zone and he's getting the pitches called to the corners, then he's got a chance to have a pretty good outing today. And I think it all depends on what kind of leeway the home plate umpire today, Jim Wolf, will give him behind the plate. And if he does give him the corners, it could be a pretty good chance.
I want to ask you something. I think I probably asked you maybe 10, 15 years ago, but I'm going to ask you again. Did you...
Wait a minute. You asked me something I asked me 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Do you expect me to remember this?
No. That's why I'm asking you again now. Do you subscribe... Oh, look at that cute kid right there. First Rockies game. Gotta love it. Do you subscribe to the theory that Jim Wolf's brother, Randy Wolf, we all know, pitcher, do you subscribe to the theory that umpires, at whatever level they topped out at, lean in that direction? So if they were a position player, they lean toward the offensive side when they call balls and strikes, and if they were a former pitcher, again, at whatever level, they maybe have a little larger strike zone.
No, I don't think so, because they're so scrutinized. You know, they are. And the only way they're going to get to the big leagues is be really good at their trade. So I really don't think that's probably part of it. You know, if obviously Jim Wolf does not get to ever call in any of Randy's games. I think there's been one time that Jim has been on the base paths. So I think that's part of the deal. You know, he was on the field but not behind the plate when Randy pitched. Now, if I'm home plate umpire and my brother's on the mound, it's going to be a big strike zone. I'm just telling you.
And that's why they, you know, it would
they
be
never put it back
for,
there. But I'm just
both
telling
guys.
you, if it's me, it's going to be huge. We might have a perfect game with 27 pitches from it.
2-2. We'll get to the near perfect game again a little bit later on in the broadcast. Boy, is Max Scherzer ever on a roll. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chris Russin facing Jean Segura. Rockies coming off the 5-1 victory yesterday. Chad Bettis, as George mentioned a few moments ago, was outstanding. 6 1/3 innings. Got to hustle, man. Segura can run. Throw to first, and they're not going to get him. It got on the body line of Segura.
He's called away, man.
He said he's in the baseline. He's out. Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire, said Segura was out of the baseline, and he is out. Craig Counsell comes sprinting out of the dugout. You have to, 45 feet down, you have to get your body inside that running lane. Let's watch Segura.
Again, but here's what he's arguing, where the ball's thrown from. If it's right in front of home plate, it's a different story. But I mean, Hundley was so far out, the ball trailed, and it's almost when he hit the bag. I mean, this is a bang-bang play going to be. And Segura's hit. The other umpire, the first base umpire, is too far up the line to even say anything here. Jim Wolf told him well out of the line. Was he in the grass? You know, that's, yeah, see, he's way out on the grass area. See, that's a different story. Yeah, it's a good call because he's way out on the grass. He's not on the line.
And honestly, when Craig looks at that later, he's got to argue. I get it. You got to support your player. When he looks at that later on, he will see that it's pretty clear he's out of the baseline.
Well, he's way out in the grass. You know, if he's in the running lane, that's a different story. He's not. He's out on the grass. You know, that 45-foot running lane they got to stay in. If he's there, he probably calls him safe. But he didn't. So then again, I have this question to ask you, Drew. If they do call him safe, and all of a sudden Nick Hundley or Walt Weiss argues the point, what's the difference than what happened to Nick the other day when he was running up the line and had interference with the ball on the play? So it's a good call. Jim Wolf did a good job.
Yeah, that's a different set of circumstances.
Good call, though. All good.
2 outs. Ryan Braun coming up. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. Rafael Ynoa is getting the start in left field for Brandon Barnes. Blackman in center. Cargo is in right. And the familiar group, third, short at second. Ben Paulson's playing first this afternoon. Nick Hundley is doing the catching.
And Braun has struggled against the Rockies this year. He's 2 for 11 with a home run and 3 RBIs.
Average at just 245 for Braun. He jumps back. That pitch was in there for a strike.
Good hitters will set up pitchers at times. You said jump back, and a lot of times they get, hey, I wasn't looking in there. You think you can go in there again, and that's when they hurt you.
Braun has faced Russell surprisingly only 1 time, and he hits it on the ground to his good friend Troy Tulowitzki, and it's a nice start for Chris Russell. 3 ground balls, and quickly he gets the Rockies to the dugout and the bat rack. We'll come back, see Colorado on offense. To go against veteran Matt Garza. That means Charlie Blackman. He'll bring a 271 average into this Father's Day. He'll be followed in Walt Weiss's lineup by the following group. DJ LeMahieu will bat second. Troy Tulowitzki will bat third. Cargo owns 3 home runs against Matt Garza. Nolan Arenado fifth. Ben Paulson, Nick Hundley, Rafael Ynoa, and then Chris Russell. 31-year-old Matt Garza struggling this year at 4-8 with an ERA above 5. You don't expect numbers like that from Garza. Typically a hard thrower, and he's been known throughout his career, George, for that late sharp slider of his.
Very good slider. He's 1-5 at home, 3-3 on the road. The road ERA though near 6. 79 and 83 in his career. Where he's been able to limit a lot of his damage has been with 2 outs, runners in scoring position. They are 3 for 36.
And Blackman takes a first pitch strike. Charlie 1 for 9 in his matchups with Garza.
He was kind of that way yesterday with Loesch too. He took advantage of him.
That's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's looking at Charlie's numbers from a year ago, George. He had 19 home runs and 288 batting average. And where he is this year, most of the numbers are almost identical with the exception of one thing. This is pulled foul. Last year he did a solid job against lefties, and this year he has struggled left on left, and of course there's a lot of baseball left. Today is game number 69, so he has plenty of time to turn those numbers around. But in terms of on base percentage, slugging percentage, basically batting average as well, Charlie's pretty steady.
Well, he goes down here, but I tell you what he's done a pretty nice job of. Everybody tries to beat him in, and it's difficult to do. He got the curveball away at 73 miles an hour for the strikeout.
Let's take a look at the Brewers defense. They have not played great defense by and large this year, but of late they are playing solid. They have not committed an error in their last 6 games, which is the longest stretch for Milwaukee this year. So here's DJ, and he takes a fastball up, ball 1. LeMahieu was 3 for 5 against Matt Garza. Garza went only 5 innings at Miller Park in that opening series of the year, gave up 4 runs and 8 hits in losing to the Rockies. He's not fared well in this ballpark.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't pitched well here at all. 81 pitches in that start Drew talked about in those 5 innings.
2 ones fouled off. Garza 0-2 and a 7.36 Coors Field ERA. This guy was really well thought of, for a decent period of time. George, it's so hard as a pitcher, a starting pitcher, to sustain excellence over a real long period of time.
Very few of them do, and he was all part of that rotation with James Shields in Tampa. Garza was a part of that when they were winning, going to the playoffs. It's just the wear and tear. The number, everybody talks about Lincecum, for example. He's got 2,400 innings under his belt. He's not 30 years old. I mean, he's crazy. To be able to keep that going.
2-2. Fastball's fouled back at 93. He's a guy, if he throws out 2, 3, 4 decent starts in a row, he's another one of those guys that you'll read about in trade rumors.
Well, what you're going to read, and you're going to find this, if a veteran guy's healthy, teams will trade for him only because it's going to allow him. They know that he's going to come and perform very well. They don't have to worry about him. He's been under the pressure of the playoffs, the World Series, pitched in different situations. So he's not somebody that, they signed him to a 3-year, 4-year contract for $48 million, I think.
Yeah,
in today's game, a guy that gives you 200 innings going to make $12 million. That's actually not very expensive.
Yeah, he's got another 3 years after this year for big money. This is on the ground to Segura. He's got to wait for the hop. 2 outs. That'll bring up Tulowitzki. Troy was off yesterday. On Friday, in the first game of this series, Troy was 1 for 4 and scored a run. Rockies fans, you can join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts and photos. Use Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. And also make sure you include the hashtag Toyota Talk. Troy with that .305 batting average, 11th in the National League. Only 7 players a year ago in the NL hit above 300. This year right now there's 13.
Tulowitzki 7 for 18 versus Milwaukee this year, and he's hurt their ball club over the course of his career.
That's in 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's also hurt a lot of other ball clubs. Pretty good.
When I think of Matt Garza, George, you always think of a guy that's been a big-time winner. comes in 79 and 83 in his career. He won 15 games with Tampa in 2010. The next year at the Cubs, he was 10 and 10. Last year with Milwaukee, his first year, he was 8 and 8. Good ERA, 3.64. Would get a great number of decisions, though. Two outs, nobody on, bottom of inning number 1 on this Father's Day with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. Glad you're with us this afternoon. Here's the 1-2. And Garza with 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 first. No scores. We go to the second. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores. Let's go places. By Clean, Crisp, Coors Light. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. A gorgeous Colorado afternoon. We go to the top of the second inning. Jonathan Lucroy, Florida native. Played his college baseball at Louisiana Lafayette. He'll step in first, get a toe hold. Good start for Chris Russin. 3 ground balls in the first inning through just 9 pitches.
Bottom half of the zone. He stays down in the bottom half of the zone. It's okay. Right there. Nice. 8 out of 10 pitches for strikes so far.
You know, the Rockies, other teams do this also, but the Rockies utilize the strings, not literally string, but during spring training, that lower portion of the strike zone at the knees to reinforce to their pitchers to throw the ball down.
Yeah, that's an old trick. Been around since, gosh, when I was in high school back in the late 60s and early 70s. That high school coach used to have us throw to the strings every time we threw a bullpen. This surprised me. You know, it really does. Lucroy is 2 for 16 right now against left-handers. That surprised me.
And he's only 1 for 16 against the Rockies this year after having an MVP caliber season a year ago. Finished 4th in the MVP voting. Talked about the doubles. He had 53, which had never been done before by a catcher. And that's fouled off. Nolan was going to get it in foul territory with his glove, and then he decided he was going to play soccer with it. Explaining that to Ed Cedar right now. Lucroy finished last season at .301, which was the 7th best average in the National League. Had 176 hits, which was 5th most. That's hard for a catcher to be on that list because they're not going to play every day.
Plus, typically they're not the fastest guys, so there's not a lot of infield singles.
No, you're right.
You know, they got to run a little bit.
Fastest catcher you ever saw.
Wow.
John Wathan could run.
Yeah, he stole 38 bases or whatever it was. That's a good question. I know it wasn't Barry Foote.
It was not Barry Foote.
Wasn't Rick Cerrone. Just thinking of guys
that
played against
Jody Davis, another one of the catchers you threw.
Yeah, and I mean Johnny Bench. No, Manny Sanguian could run a little bit.
Manny
could run a little bit. Just thinking back, you know.
Jason Kendall could run a little bit.
Jason Kendall could run. Nick Hundley runs well.
Yeah. This ball's lifted a pretty deep left field, and Inoa goes back and makes the catch. I'll give you somebody, George, a young player that we just saw recently. JT Realmuto with Miami. You didn't work that series. He's a good young player. He's out of Midwest City, Oklahoma.
Stan Meek brags about the fact that he was able to snatch him out of the draft and nobody knew about him, and he's a pretty good player, runs well, swings the bat, catches and throws well.
He is an athlete. He really runs well. Aramis Ramirez takes strike one.
It's another guy that trade deadline. I mean, they're not going to get a lot for it because he said he was going to retire. But he's got 378 career home runs. You get into a hitter-friendly ballpark, he may be one of those guys people come and get. He's sure-handed at third base, very accurate arm, turns the double play well. Everything about him's a positive.
Fraze, you made a point during the commercial break that, and I don't want people to misconstrue this. Again, it's not that players don't give effort on bad teams. They do. But sometimes you get revitalized when you get in a winning situation.
Well, there's no question. I can speak from my own personal experience with Cleveland, 24 games out. And then in June, you get traded to the Cubs, you're in first place. It's a whole different awareness of heightened of what you're doing every day when you go to the ballpark and what you're playing. And what I said at break to Drew is I said you could take Garza and put him on the Cardinal team. You could put him on the New York Yankee ball club, the New York Met ball club. He might win 10, 12 games second half of the season. You got good offense, good defense. You get run support behind you. You know, if you give up 3 or 4, you still got a chance to win a ball game.
Yeah, there's definitely something to that, no question. That's why the scouting element is interesting in that you can't just look at raw numbers sometimes when you're looking at a guy on a team that's been struggling.
Right. Jolie Chachin's a great example of this. Signed by Arizona Diamondbacks, and he opted out of his deal with the Cleveland Indians because he hadn't got called to the big leagues. And Jolie's throwing the ball very well. 320 earned run average. Well, last night he goes 7 innings in Sacramento and strikes out 9, gives up 1 run. That may be something that Arizona looks at and goes, hey, this may be a guy that could help us. Right now he's an insurance policy.
Yeah, Diamondbacks made a move today. Did you see that? They traded their number 1 pick and Bronson Arroyo to Atlanta for that young second baseman.
Yeah, that's
more of a utility guy.
Yeah, but Bronson Arroyo's broke. This guy just had Tommy John. He probably won't even be back till September.
This is popped up. DJ drop stepping into shallow center.
But I will say this about the Atlanta Braves. He also took a guy in the Rule 5 draft this year, Dan Winkler, that pitched for the Rockies that had Tommy John. He's got to be on the roster for 90 days or lose him. John Hart made a comment the other day. We got as many guys as we could coming off Tommy John. And there was some guys we passed on that we think are going to turn the corner, come back. And 2015 is going to be gone. 2016 is going to be here, and we're going to be loaded in the minor leagues with pitchers if they all come back healthy.
Well, historically, and I know John Hart hasn't run the Braves. It was always John Shearholtz for years, but historically, we know what they've done with pitching.
Right. Well, on the other side of it, he passed on 2 of his own guys, Brandon Beachy and Medlin. They're all playing, but Medlin's about ready to come again. I think part of that was, and I don't know if it's been proven still, but they're saying now that second Tommy John you have, the shelf life's about 4 years before it breaks down again. Hope it doesn't happen, obviously, but
0-2 on Adam Lind. And
yeah, he did. Check
it looked like he went.
Ring him up.
No swing, according to Doug Eddings. 1-2 on Lind.
They must be off tomorrow. Got a morning flight. Let's take a look at it again. I always watch where that bat hit. Does it get far enough around the corner? Boy, that's pretty close. Go back there again. Try tricking with it again.
Lind hit a home run yesterday to account for the only run for Milwaukee. Brewers have lost 7 of 8. They won on Friday night. That snapped a 6-game losing streak. Yeah, Bronson Arroyo, and Bronson's a guy who, until he had Tommy John, never missed. This ball's lined to right. Long run for Cargo. He was over in right center field. Lind is going to have a double.
Went away with the breaking ball. Tried to sneak a fastball at 91 in on the hands, and almost like he was waiting on it.
Just to finish the thought on Arroyo, they were saying that he was hoping to be back in August. He said, listen, I still have pain in that elbow. He goes, I don't know if I'm going to pitch at all this year.
Right, and he's owed $9.4 million with a $4.5 million buyout next year. There's the pitch inside. Chris Rushton, after going away with 2 sliders, thought he had the check swing strikeout. This ball gets to the corner. And Lind out at second base, having a nice year.
He's having a nice year against the Rockies. He's 8 for 14 against Colorado.
10 home runs, 34 RBIs. The average for Lind now at 278.
Hernan Perez takes a strike on the corner. Good crowd still settling in on this Father's Day 2015.
It's funny, George is in town. We went to Miss Colorado last night. A lot of fun. And we started thinking about it. She's 23 years old. I think this is just the 3rd Father's Day we spent together.
Baseball family.
Baseball family. You're exactly right. Her birthday's April the 20th. We've only been home for about 4 of those. It's all part of being in the game of baseball.
My wife a long time ago bought that. It's a familiar quote, phrase, if you will, in baseball families. And it sits prominently in our kitchen. This marriage has been interrupted for the baseball season.
Right.
Two and 1. And that's fouled off. 2-2.
Tells me too they're not really seeing the ball very good. That fastball kind of center cut at 89 miles an hour, and Perez was late getting to the ball. You kind of think in the back of your mind, a pretty good deception by Chris right now on the mound. Clean up this last out here in the 2nd.
That's pulled through the hole. Coming to get the baseballs, Noah. Green light for Lind. Throws cut off. And now they have the runner hung up in Perez. And Nolan will get the out. But Perez makes it 1-0. His 2nd RBI with Milwaukee. Chris Russell and the Rockies down a run. Carlos Gonzalez is going to lead things off as you look at a happy Father's Day message from Corey Dickerson. There's Corey.
I always look at Father's Day, though. I mean, Father's Day 365 days a year. Every day's Father's Day.
That's right.
Sometimes you're the good dad, sometimes you're the bad dad. How about this right here? It's Carlos Gonzalez, folks. What was this? His home run in a Rocky uniform? First in a Rockies uniform. You remember Jim Tracy sitting down after a hot spring. He came back. He played extremely well. Even when he struggled a little bit, he still continued to swing the bat well.
Yeah, and Trace stayed with him because there was a period there people thought, oh, he's going to have to revisit, at the time, Colorado Springs. And Jim Tracy was adamant that he'll figure it out. And guess what? He figured it out. 2-1. For me, he really blossomed in that postseason series against Philadelphia. He went 10 for 17. Back then he was leading off. 10 for 17 against the Phillies. And then the next year, of course, he had an extraordinary year. 2-2.
Boy, what a great crowd here on Father's Day. This is nice. Beautiful, beautiful crowd. Just the corners are empty. A lot of dads, a lot of kids. Somebody got the foul ball. He's pretty excited.
2-2. And it's 3-2. Nolan's on deck. Ben Paulson after that. Rockies are 11-11 on Father's Day all time. How about Milwaukee? I'll tell you about Milwaukee in a second. Garza's ready to go. Here's the 3-2 on Cargo. And he got him with a high fastball. Milwaukee on Father's Day 18-30. Not very good. But on Mother's Day, they're 30-19. Best in baseball. Go figure. There's that little bit of superfluous information for you. Nolan Arenado with 1 out. And Nolan drives this to left for a base hit. Peterson firing it back into second to hold Arenado to a single. First base runner for the Rockies.
Well, let's take a look at this pitch to Nolan Arenado. It's going to be a good one on a Subaru Supermo because it ends up a base hit. Trying to run the fastball in on his hands. Got his hands in tight to the body. Turned on the baseball. Hit it down the left field line. And this is not something that's unusual for Nolan Arenado against the Milwaukee Brewers in his career. He's been extremely hot throughout. He has hit their pitching very well.
Ben Paulson on Friday night, single, double, triple, 2 RBIs. When you have a single, double, triple, if you're Paulson, who has 5 home runs, statistically you're closer to a cycle than, say, if you had a single, double, and a home run. Shows you how hard it is to accomplish that. There's been one this year. Brock Holt of Boston did it earlier this week, in fact. 2-0 on Paulson. Arenado, conservative lead at first. And it's 3-0. Nick Hundley is on deck. So the Brewers have scored first. We've discussed that quite a bit lately. Score first, don't score first, and it's a huge delta. If you score first in Major League Baseball, you typically win about 71% of the time. That's a strike. Milwaukee's at 19-11 when they score first this year, which is about 63% of the time. So not quite up to par. Craig Counsell took over in early May from Ron Renicky. It's not like Doug Melvin decided we're going to go, good cop, bad cop, runner going, fouled off. Because Ron Renicky was a player's manager, and certainly Craig Counsell, real affable guy, is a player's type manager.
I just think Doug felt like after being in first place for 5 months last year, and then all of a sudden everything falling apart, and them losing out at the very end, and then starting the way they started this year, that it was time for maybe a different voice in the locker room, and Counsell was his choice. Now, Craig had been working for the club as a special assistant, going to the minor leagues, watching their players, sitting with Doug during big league ball games. Think about this, folks.
Nolan takes off again. Strike 3, and it's going to be a strike him out, throw him out to end the inning. That's 4 strikeouts for Garza. And the Rockies trail 1-0 as we go to the 3rd.
Lucroy 8 of 15 now.
Learned rule number 1 is don't leave your equipment at the field. I left my glove at some faraway field one time, and we got back to the house. My dad said, "Where's your glove?" And I gave him one of those, like, oops, and he got a little upset, and then we went back and got it, and since then I haven't really left my glove anywhere ever again.
See, that's not true, because George, remember we were getting off the plane in Miami last week. We picked up Charlie's glove. He left it on the seat. No, that's not true. I think every father has that same story of left equipment.
Yeah, but what did you remember what you paid for your first baseball glove?
I know what I'm paying for now for the kids.
Yeah, but what you paid, well, mine was $19.59, so it was $4.99. And I wish I still had it.
Of course, you're a lot older than me. So.
Yes, but I was 5 years old when Dad gave it to me.
Shane Peterson takes the ball. It's 1-1.
My other most favorable moment was buying my Schwinn banana seat bicycle. That was nice.
I remember when those were big.
It was huge.
1-2. Chris Russin gave up a 2-out run in the second, a double by Lind and a single by Perez. So it is Peterson, the pitcher, Garza, and then Gene Segura. That may be a first game also.
before we went to break, we were talking about what the Brewers had done a year ago. They'd led the league from April 5th to August 31st. And then they went 9-22 and finished third. And they were done.
And that is punched the other way for a base hit. And Peterson runs pretty well. Slam on the brakes. Rafael Ynoa did a good job getting to it. So a leadoff single for Peterson, and that'll bring up Garza in a bunting situation. Today's fun fact brought to you by All Copy. According to Baseball Almanac, there have been 237 father-son combinations in the majors. The Doziers became the first in 1903 when Jack followed his father Herm to the big leagues. Only 2 father-son combos have managed. The Macks, I didn't know that. Connie Mack, Cornelius McGillicuddy. I didn't know he had a son who managed, Earl. And the Skinners, Bob and Joel. And there have been, Dougie and I were discussing this, there have been 4 families that have had 3 generations reach the big leagues. The Hairstons, the Bells. Buddy, of course, managed here. The Boones. And the Coleman family. Joe, and Casey Coleman. 2010, Casey Coleman was up for a little bit.
He's actually going to be on the Pan Am team, playing in Toronto. It all starts July 10th through the 26th.
Managed by Jim Tracy.
Yeah. Marcel Latchman is the pitching coach.
(2-0). Garza's trying to get a bunt down. Russin hasn't thrown him a strike. How about leaders all time? Father, son. Home runs, that one's pretty easy to pick off. Bobby and Barry Bonds produced the most home runs all time. In terms of hits, it's the Griffeys, not the Bonds. Almost 5,000 hits. Stottlemyre's in wins, and Stottlemyre's when it comes to strikeouts.
You know what, that could change, and Garza's going to be out. No, he's not. Strike 2.
You get 3, George. 3 in this league.
Yeah, Stottlemyre's record for wins at 302 will break it if Maddox's kid gets to the big leagues. Starts one game. Yeah. Pretty nutsy, isn't it? You know, Dale Bear made it for a little bit up with the Yankees, not very long. Yogi was managing the ball club.
Was it Tommy Aaron who said, yeah, me and my brother combined for X number of home runs in our career? Or was that Dom DiMaggio and Vince DiMaggio? Yeah. One of them had a line about
talk about hits and all that stuff.
Yeah. Combining with their brother, who obviously produced about 99%.
That's like Dizzy and Daffy, you know.
Tommy Aaron was a good player.
Great player.
3-2 on Garza, and he's gone. So
now
he fails to help himself out. 1 out. Shane Peterson still standing at first.
Yeah, flip a ball on the ground right now. Tulowitzki will take this on the double play ball. So it's a ball hit back to Chris. That communication is always between your shortstop and your pitcher of who's got the baseball. Should be.
How about our own Doug Marino? It's his second Father's Day.
I know. He doesn't understand it yet, though. I do have to ask a question.
Oh, it's your first Father's Day.
Yeah. I have a question.
Celebrate your first birthday. How can that be? What are you talking about?
Doug,
that's right. Father's Day, the day was different, so it's his first Father's Day.
You'll figure it out. Doug, did you get pancakes this morning? Because you fixed them for French toast today. Okay. Because Doug fixed a big Mother's Day breakfast.
Fouled off by Segura.
Segura had that tap out in front of the plate and was ruled out. Nick Hundley threw the ball. It should have been. He was well out onto the grass area when the ball approached at first base. Segura has struggled of late, 3 for 24. Good running, sinking fastball, 91 miles an hour. That ball had all kinds of movement on it. Really good pitch. Take a look at this one more time to make it an 0-2 count on Segura on the Subaru Supermo. Watch them right about here. This ball disappears out of the zone.
Two strikes on Gene Segura. That ball is hit to left center field for a base hit.
Well, that's an 0-2 mistake.
They were good hands by Rafael Ynoa. That ball hit something and took a right-hand turn. Rafi grabbed it with his bare hand. Yeah, George, you hate those as pitchers to give up an 0-2 hit.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you want to either bury that slider on the back foot, elevate out of the zone. Now you're going to see this ball hit to left field. There's the play by Ynoa. Out in the outfield, Subaru Supermo, when that ball hit, he had kind of overran it, so he had to jump back and grab it with the bare hand. Could have got ugly if he missed it.
Parra up there, he had a ground ball to short, his first at bat. 1-0 Milwaukee. Two singles here in the inning, one out. Parra grew up in that Arizona organization. Won a Gold Glove as a outfielder with Arizona.
I never could figure out why Arizona didn't buy into it. You know, why this guy's maybe even if not an everyday guy, at least really 3.5 guy. You know, that he's going to play 3 or 4 times a week, or he's going to play against right-handers anyway.
And he's a young guy. He just turned 28 last month.
Yeah, good player. I always liked him.
Back up the middle. Russell, good feed for one on the first, double play.
Tulo hung in there much like DJ yesterday. They went in hard. Segura did. The shortstop flipped Tulowitzki, but not before he made the great throw. The first base to get another look at it here as we go to break. Tulo come across, give me a good feed. The ball's a little bit low. Reaction of a 6'5" guy.
Eric Young working with his son Dallas, getting a little front toss in. Dallas
he was launching.
Yeah,
I mean, he was hitting a bunch up into the seats too.
He's got a good little swing.
Yes, he does. Quick hands.
You know what I call Dallas? I call him the mayor.
Yeah, he talks to everybody.
Yeah, he's
kind of like you, really.
He's got a big personality. Really close with his big brother, E.Y. Jr.
Recently sent to AAA with the Atlanta Braves. Sad to hear that too. Of course, they made some trades. He'd struggled a little bit.
It's fouled off. 1 ball, 1 strike on Nick Hundley. Nick's 4 for 11 in his career against Matt Garza. That's down. 2 balls and a strike. Rockies yesterday, as you know, got the victory 5-1, but it's not like they knocked the baseball around the ballpark. They had the big 2-run home run by Charlie to give them a little bit of a cushion that made it 3-0, but they had just 7 hits on the day. Their last 10 games, the Rockies are hitting just .215. And today they have just 1 hit. Garza has struck out 4 of the first 6 batters he has faced. He's faced the minimum in the first couple of innings. 2-2 count right now on Hundley. Coming off an outing where he gave up a bunch of runs and a bunch of hits. Season high 13 hits in a loss to the Royals. Went 6 2/3, gave up 6 runs on those 13 hits. And this is a shattered bat, a blooper to shallow center. It'll drop. So Father's Day base hit leading off the 3rd for Nick Hundley. That'll bring up Rafael Noah. With every challenge called, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Rafi appeared in yesterday's game as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning. He had a base hit that snapped a little 0 for 10 slide. Runner goes, hit and runs on Segura. They got the out. No, safe. That was not on the transfer. The ball was dropped by Perez.
And I think he heard footsteps of Nick Hundley. He was right on top of him. A little surprised he tried to get the out there. I don't think you're going to have him know and turn the double play ball. But it was a hard feed in, and I really think Perez was trying to get his hand so quick over the top of the bag to try to turn it, hit and run. Nick's there. He's almost right on top of the bag when he flips it to him. And then he tries to exchange. The exchange was not there on the Subaru Supermo. See it come in on him on the hands. You could almost argue with it a little bit, trying to be really quick out of the glove. Take advantage of the mistake.
Absolutely. 2 on, nobody out. Russin will try to get it to be a 2nd and 3rd situation. And these are the little things, George. You got to find a way to get this bunt down. You got 3 opportunities. Get it down. Well done by Russin on his first chance, and he ran hard up the first base line. Good for him, and that ball was nearly thrown down the right field line. A good catch by Perez. So it's 2nd and 3rd with the Rockies trailing 1-0, and Charlie Blackmon coming up with 1 out. That's the job of Chris Russin.
And the right guy coming to the plate right now. I feel like Charlie with men on base showed you how many RBIs he has in the leadoff spot. He'll get a shot, look in defensively how they want to try to play it here. The middle probably back early in the game, quite tight on the corners. We'll try to cut the run off, but get the out.
Charlie struck out swinging on a curveball his first time up.
It's his turn against Garza. 1 for 10 in his career versus Garza.
No error assigned. Oh, now they are assigning an error. And this ball pulled to second. It'll get a run home. And it ties up the game as Hundley scores. So Blackmon pulled the ball to Perez to get the run home. 27th RBI for Blackmon, more than any other leadoff hitter in the National League. And it's a 1-1 ball game. Manoah with 2 outs is at third base as LeMahieu comes up.
They gave Perez the error, correct?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
At first, they were just going to call it a
so.
straight fielder's choice. But they gave the error to Perez for dropping it.
He was first in the National League this year.
Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more runs, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies taco special. Taco Bell, Le Mas. DJ's been so good with runners in scoring position, so good with 2 outs. 1 ball, 1 strike. LeMahieu batting .400 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, 12 for 30. In fact, 15 of his 31 RBIs have come in this situation. 2 outs. 1-1, base hit the other way, right on cue. DJ LeMahieu gives the Rockies a 2-1 lead.
32nd RBI in the season for DJ. A lot of small ball paid big hands here. With the hit and run being successful because of the error, the bunt by Rustin, that puts the runners over. The ball to the right side by Charlie, that gets it in. Now opposite field hits, 34, that leads the major leagues right now for DJ, tied with D. Gordon prior to this at bat. There's the slider, inside out swing on the Subaru Supermo, and the run across, and the Rockies lead it 2-1.
Boy, he does such a good job, George, of staying connected, keeping those hands inside the baseball. Tulowitzki. Troy takes a strike. Troy had yesterday afternoon off. And the Rockies won. They've done a good job in his absence. 8-4 this year when Tulo's been given a day. Troy's hitting 17 of his last 18 ball games. There goes DJ. He's going to swipe another base. That's his 9th of the year.
They put that combination together. He and Charlie now 26 stolen bases. They've been caught 8 times at the top of the lineup. Garza probably a little frustrated after the error. Not a lot of attention paid to DJ. He got the big jump, 1 look back, and then on into second base safely.
Another 2-out knock. Two balls and a strike on Tulowitzki. 4 for 17 in his lifetime matchups with Matt Garza. We were talking, George, about that 05 draft. Was it yesterday or the day before? How many great players came out of that draft? Tulo was in that draft. Ryan Braun. Justin Upton was the first pick overall. Matt Garza was in that draft. He was the 25th pick in the first round that year by Minnesota.
Well, people always want to say things about how you missed on this guy. Why'd you take that guy? You start looking through drafts in the first 3 or 4.
Two. Curveball ripped to left. DJ around third gets a green light from Stu Cole. Throws way off line. And Tulo will move up. Make it 3-1 Colorado. All with 2 outs.
35 RBIs now for Tulowitzki and another big 2-out hit for the Rockies to expand their lead to 3-1. Exactly what you're trying to accomplish here is just keep trading places if you can. And Tulo's able to do that. Shane Peterson threw a slider from the outfield, missed poorly into the foul territory. Tulo read it. He advanced. And you see DJ come around third base. He's going to cut it and force the throw in. Not anywhere to be close to home plate. Garza, who was pretty special the first two, had things turned sideways here in the third.
Well, a nice little counter punch by the Rockies. It's 3-1. Cargo with 2 outs. He struck out on a 3-2 fastball, about letter high. And he hits a high fly ball to center field. Hara waiting, and he makes the catch. In the inning, the Rockies scored 3 times on 3 hits. A couple of 2-out knocks as well. 3-1. Rockies have a 3-1 lead on this Father's Day as we go to the top of the 4th inning. Coors Light Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. Ryan Braun leading it off in the 4th inning. At Miller Park, he's hit almost .350 against the Rockies. Not bad numbers at Coors Field in his career with the Brewers.
I'll tell you, it's an amazing game how momentum changes things. Think of the double play Tulo turned previously in the inning to shut down what at the time was a little bit of a rally for the Brewers. They turn the double play, they come in, they put 3 on the board in a hurry. Now all of a sudden you hold a 3-1 lead and you're into the top of the 4th inning. You need to have that shutdown inning as you work in the middle of their lineup. 3, 4, and 5.
Outside on Braun, ball 1. Braun hit a 2-hopper to short his first time. First pitch he saw in the series from Jorge De La Rosa, he hit over the center field fence. Nothing since then. It's a high fly ball to deep right field. Cargo hoping for a play. Leaps, can't get it. Off the wall. Now it shoots all the way back down the line. Braun to third, and he's going to get a stop sign late. Really late. Ed Cedar waved him till he was about halfway home, and then he slammed on the brakes.
Well, Cedar's all the way at home plate. He had gone all the way down where Nick Hundley was. He was straight in line with your throw coming forward. You can see Ed walking back up the third base line. Well, not the way you want to start the top of the 4th inning. But it's a high, long fly. That long swing creates a lot of flight on the baseball. Cargo chased it to the wall, gave it a leap. It hit right above on the auxiliary scoreboard. Then it took off running. Look on the Subaru Supermo how close he was to this ball. Well, maybe not. About 1.5 feet up. And then you can see that Braun thought about it, knew he thought he might have that chance. Good recovery by DJ to go out and get the baseball.
And that's what you learn. You know, if you play shortstop, for instance, at Fenway Park, if you're playing second base here, as Lucroy fouls it off, center fielder has to go out, second baseman has to go out, sometimes shortstop has to go out. If that ball ricochets off the wall, it comes back obviously towards the infield. And that was really close to being an inside the park home run situation.
It just goes back to the old saying, when a ball's put in play, everybody's got a place to be.
Don't just spectate. One strike on Lucroy. Infield's back with the Rockies up a couple of runs. And that's fouled off.
Yeah, Lucroy kind of looking in disbelief that he didn't make solid contact. A little bit of late movement on the changeup at 83. Down and away from him in the zone.
And you see him shaking his head. You just saw in the fourth strike zone, George described him. When you get two pitches that are in the middle of the plate at this level, it's unusual, and you want to put one of them in play hard. Let's see if Chris can induce a strikeout. A little cut fastball down low, 1-2. Russell, working with the Cubs for a few years, faced the Brewers 3 times as a starter. 0-2, 6.39 ERA. And what a grab by DJ! I didn't think he could get there, even at 6'4". What a catch!
It's all about timing. That's all it is. I mean, it really is. You just got to have luck involved in this and hope the ball doesn't rise above that glove. I mean, he's easily got the tip of the gloves probably at about 11 feet in the air when he goes up and catches this baseball, comes down and rolls to get out back into where he is, and he's looking over the whole time to see what Braun's doing at third. Heads up.
Aramis Ramirez, and the Rockies will employ a shift with Ramirez. And this is, oh boy, this not only get the run home, he may reach. No, out. DJ's everywhere. How did he get to that baseball in time to throw out Ramirez? He was on the other side of second base.
All reactions, what it is. That's all you can think about it. And that's unfortunately make a pretty good pitch here, but they're going to get a run out of it. Yeah, Craig Counsell looking in the dugout. Do we need to look at it again? Look where DJ is, folks. Look where he is. Left side of second, out on the grass to give him a little more range, and full boat flipped the baseball and able to get Ramirez. No challenge. And there's 2 outs in the inning, and the base is empty, but it's now a 3-2 ball game.
Usually, you kick dirt, you go chat with somebody to give your pitcher some time to catch his breath if he goes and does something. Right now, Chris Rustin was taking his time to give DJ a chance to catch his breath. So Adam Lynn at the plate. Lynn with a double and a run scored in the second inning. How close is this?
Ooh. I think he took a little stutter step towards the end. If he got to first, if he got a complete stride. I mean, he was out. Now Nolan's going to get to show off his glove, his arm, and let's have a seat in the dugout with a lead.
Nice play by Arenado. Leadoff triple by Braun. He comes around, so it's a 1-run game, 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. LeMahieu doing it offensively and defensively in this game. And now getting a chance to rest for a moment. 2-out base hit last inning. Gorgeous catch. Gorgeous play from the left side of the diamond to move over to the right side on the slow roller and throw out Aramis Ramirez. So the Rockies up 3-2. Nolan Arenado will lead off against Garza here in the bottom of the fourth. And he's out front.
So, you know, you sit back and you look at trades all the time. But the Rockies sent Casey Weathers, and I think it was Ian Stewart.
It was Ian Stewart.
Over for DJ, who was the #1 pick. I'll get out of here.
Yep. Take a good look. You won't see this one for long. Nolan Arenado has done it again. His 17th big fly of the year. RBI number 54. The Rockies have that run back.
In a hurry, Nolan changed it again. Well, what a year you're having, Nolan Arenado. Man, oh man. 54 RBIs, not to the break yet. Hanging breaking ball. He missed it on the previous swing. He did not miss this hanging curveball. This is one of those long, deep, beautiful, long fly balls.
Back live, Ben Paulson grounds out. So with one out, Nick Hundley will come up.
Rockies expanded it to 4-2 now with 5 hits in the ball game. The long ball by Nolan Arenado. There's 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. Well, you don't want to dig the long ball. National League home runs allowed. It's the Milwaukee Brewers with 82, followed by San Diego, Philadelphia, Colorado is in that mix at 4, and then St. Louis and Pittsburgh.
You know, sometimes you look at a record, George, and you say, and you look at the stats, and the record and the stats don't match up. I'll give you an example. The Rockies lead the league in batting average, and they've done a really good job hitting most of the year with runners in scoring position, yet they haven't scored the kind of runs they have had in the past. So those numbers, for whatever reason, don't really add up. And the Rockies are 10 games under 500 beginning play today. Milwaukee begins play today 20 games under 500, and unfortunately for them, the numbers do add up. They haven't hit. Their pitching staff is. Their starting pitching has been poor. They had an ERA close to 5 coming in. And the Rockies, the only starting rotation with a higher ERA. Until recently, they hadn't played very good defense. So you look at all the metrics and you say, okay, that's why this team has struggled. And 82 home runs, that's a bunch. Craig Counsell knows that.
And particularly the ballpark they play in. Big center field. It's a dome.
Nick Hundley hits this in the air left center. It's got to get down, and it will. Parra was shaded over toward right center, so Nick has his second hit of the ball game. He's 2 for 2. With 1 out, it'll bring up Rafael Ynoa. Rockies up 4-2.
Remember the previous inning, Ynoa hit the hit and run, which that was bobbled by Perez, and then the Rockies went on to put 3 runs on the board in the 3rd inning.
Ramirez on the grass at 3rd in case Ynoa wants to lay one down. And that'll be a base hit to center field. Hundley will stop at second.
The 11th annual Faith Day at Coors Field is Sunday, July the 26th with Michael W. Smith as this year's musical guest. Visit Rockies.com/faithday to purchase tickets. Chris laid down a beautiful bunt last time, right out in front of home plate, advanced both runners.
This is one of those situations where Walt really likes to slug bunt. Let's see. You got bodies moving everywhere, especially with first and second, George. The entire middle of the infield opens up.
Well, that's the thing about it. As soon as you just draw back and you got guys coming, you got guys moving, the right side particularly open with your second baseman coming, covering first base. See what kind of play they have on defensively here.
You got the wheel on. They put the slug bunt on. They're going to end up with a double steal out of it.
Not only with his second stolen base, the first before you know it. Yeah, they didn't really know to go with this. How about the fake bunt, slug swing, hit and run? Nobody was covering anywhere. Lucroy looked to third, he looked to second, and everything was empty.
Yeah, Chris Russin a chance to get his first ribby of the season. Infield drawn in with one out. Rockies up by 2. Good eye.
Well, if you're wondering how much they hit in the Pacific Coast League, well, they hit a lot, because every time they play the National League teams, they hit. There's a lot of National League teams: San Francisco, San Diego, Arizona, St. Louis, the Cubs. They're all in the
PCL.
Miami. They're all in the PCL.
Two and 2. Put in play, but not going to get the run home. Ramirez zips it across to Lind. 2 outs. Chris Russin grounds to third, and Charlie Blackmon will come up. Charlie had an RBI ground out last inning. Give Russin a lot of credit. You got a nasty guy on the hill. He got the ball in play.
Yeah, he did. Just a couple of feet left to right. You might have tried to send it. If everybody's not balanced up, Chris Russin puts things back into the helmet racks and heads up. You know, you got one thing to focus on here today in this ballpark, and that's keep some more zeros on the board.
Outside on Charlie. Ribby for Blackmon, his last time up, is 27th of the year. Hundley's at third, Enoa at second. A run in on the home run by Nolan Arenado. A strike. Rockies have matched their hit total from yesterday already. They had 7 hits in the 5-1 victory yesterday. They're at 7 hits here in the 4th. Blackmon loops this to right. It's going to drop. 1 run is scored. Here comes Enoa. He'll score standing up. 2-run single, Charlie Blackmon. It is 6-2 Colorado.
And Charlie with a 3-day RBI day already in the game, and you're only into the 4th inning.
Well, he had 3 yesterday. He had an RBI on Friday. He's got 7 ribbies in this series against Milwaukee.
Yeah, just keep piling it on, too. Now all of a sudden a 6-2 ball game against Garza. Ball's not hit particularly hard. Probably broke his bat on the Subaru Supermo, but just guess what? Hit it where they ain't playing, and you tack 2 more onto the board.
Garza eyeballing Blackmon. Don't be surprised if he takes off first pitch here. I wouldn't be shocked to see him pitch out here also.
Yeah, they did it yesterday.
So many many ways to try to slow a running game, to step off the back and glance over.
Timing, it's all about timing. One of the big things, and I've said this numerous times, but Lou Brock just said, I hated it when a pitcher held the baseball. You kind of get down that crouch position, you're thinking about going, you're thinking about getting a bigger lead. You just kind of freeze and lock, the muscles do, and that has a big effect on you. Brock was one of those guys like Ricky Henderson, full speed in 2 steps. Really get going. Vince Coleman, much like that. D. Gordon's like that.
The Cardinals went through the 60s and 70s with a host of guys that could fly.
Willie McGee.
Ozzie ran well. Fouled off, 2-strike count. A good 2-strike hitter at the plate, though, in DJ LeMahieu.
Boy, huge lead right now. Look at that.
Blackman, wow, was a third of the way to second base.
He took 2 big hops there.
He was jumping around like a little leaguer.
Garza didn't even think about throwing over there. Look at Charlie at first base, folks. Watch this. Well, 1 step. I'll do it 1 more time. Well, now I'm going to throw over there. At least I'm going to look.
Close.
A little bit of a cat mouse game. I think Lynn failed to tag him here. Yeah, he did his caught the ball. Maybe he takes that glove and swipe it really hard through there. Might have a chance to get it there. Did not. Charlie with a big lead again. Step off by Garza.
DJ this year with 2 strikes is hitting .215. League average is about 170 with 2 strikes. 45 points above that. It's pretty darn good. There goes Blackman, and the throw got it. So Lucroy got a good pitch to throw on. It was a high fastball, and he catches Charlie at second. In the inning, the Rockies scored 3 times. Nolan Arenado hit his 17th home run of the year on a breaking ball. The Rockies would get a couple more on a base hit by Blackman. 6-2 they lead. Recap. Rockies on the right side of things up 6-2. Charlie Blackman back-to-back ball games. He's driven in 3. Nolan just hit his 17th, and Chris Russin thus far has been pretty solid. Hasn't walked anybody. Allowed a couple runs on 5 hits. We have a change for the Rockies. Something's up with Carlos Gonzalez. He's come out of the ball game, and Brandon Barnes is in right field.
We'll try to look back, maybe to have Tavis and the guys down in the truck take a look at some film to see if maybe when he came down, did he land on his ankle on the side out there when he tried to catch the ball against the fence? Could have been the heat. It is a warm day, 88 degrees here at the ballpark today, one of the hottest days in Denver so far this summer.
Hernan Perez playing second base. He had a single and an RBI back in the second. Milwaukee actually took the lead 1-0. Fastball for a strike. So Braun hit the ball off that auxiliary scoreboard. Cargo leaped. I don't know if that's where it happened or not. And Braun went all the way around third before getting the stop sign from Ed Cedar. The last inside the park home run for Milwaukee came against the Rockies. It was in April of 2012 at Miller Park. Nori Aoki. And it was his first big league home run. To third, Nolan spins, throws, and hits his target in the chest, basically. Good play by Arenado. I've been watching him, George. He can field a little bit.
You know what, Drew? You're right. It's amazing how many balls he gets to.
We have to thank our friends at Chubb Burger out in the upper deck there in right field for lunch today. Man,
and Eliza brought it down to us. What a wonderful thing. We appreciate everything you do, obviously. She does such a great job.
Lisa's everywhere. Up comebacker. Chris Russin's got it.
Second time he's had that. The other was to turn the double play. Well, let's take a look at the All-Star balloting. Have you done it yet?
Well,
the
Royals fans have.
Yeah, well, if you haven't, make sure you do it. And think about Nolan and a few other guys on this DJ. Even Tulo's starting to get the name into that mix there. It's time to vote for the All-Star game. Vote 35 times on the 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star game ballot exclusively at therockies.com. Don't miss the 86th game and All-Star game. Coverage begins 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time on July the 14th.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. If it stays the way it does, and 7 Royals get voted into the All-Star game, should the commissioner step in? Should Rob Manfred step in?
Do what?
Well, it's been done before. In the late 50s, the Reds had, I think, 7 starters, and the commissioner stepped in then, and he put Willie Mays and Hank Aaron in the starting lineup.
No, just leave it. I mean, they voted. See whether they deserve to be there or not. I mean, we all know Nolan belongs there. We all know DJ. Strike out the inning. We'll talk about it when we come back.
All right, good inning for Chris Russin. Rockies up 6-2, middle of 5.
I was disagreeing with the umpire a little bit, wasn't pitching very well, and I remember crying on the mound, and my dad came up to me and said, hey, if you're going to be a leader on this team, you got to act he had to act better than that, and you know, it's just something that stuck with me. You know, if, people around you always, you know, looking at you if you want to be a player on the team.
That was in Double-A in the Cubs organization for DJ when that took place.
Oh, it wasn't. Stop.
That was funny.
Come on.
I think, again, we've had a couple of lessons from dads, and I think anybody that's coached their kid, especially in baseball, have been there. So here's DJ with a fresh count to begin the bottom of the 5th inning. The Rockies enjoying a 6-2 lead. And DJ, once again, a large reason why the Rockies are up 4. He's driven in a run. He's played extraordinary defense again. He had a single, a stolen base, and a ribby in the 3rd inning. 1 for 2. So just to finish that conversation, you don't think
you know what, if there's
Major
a fault,
League Baseball should do anything about it?
If there's a fault in it, you know what, then fix it in the offseason and go back to punching the ballots or whatever you want to do to get it done. To fix it right now, do I want to see 7 Royals? Probably not. But somebody got out and voted. You mentioned before we went on air, did they hack into the computers and all of a sudden vote 10,000 times? Who knows? But they got out and voted an awful lot. Or if they could track how many votes were other than Kansas City. You know what I mean? In other cities.
And here's the thing. I am thrilled. I think it's a great story. The Royals were down for couple of decades, several decades, 85 prior to last year. I'm thrilled for their success. They have an outstanding baseball team. They're a blast to watch. That bullpen is fun to watch, I guess, unless you have to face them. But let's be honest. If I want to see 7 Royals in a game, first of all, they all have to be deserving, and there aren't 7 clearly that right now should be starting. Then I'd turn on a Royals game.
Well, and again, you want Nolan Arenado to start in the National League, then vote for him.
Tulo hammers one to center field and deep, but it's going to be tracked down out there by Parra.
Does Nolan belong there? Absolutely he does.
And it's not about
DJ belongs there.
Yeah, it's not when we talk about
that guy right there belongs there.
Yeah, when we talk about guys going to the All-Star game, it's a different subject than whether or not they should actually be starting. Nolan deserves to be there. DJ deserves to be there.
They will be. They'll be there.
In the case of the Royals and 7 of the 8 position players, it's just, you know, we'll see what happens with it. Sometimes, as Rob Manfred, I think, was quoted as saying yesterday, these things work themselves out. There have been, you know, a group of players, say, from one team that have been way out in front through the first 2 or 3 voting sequences,
they got 4 million.
And then it gets, you know, corrected, you know, in the last round. Who knows what'll happen, but it's an interesting topic. 2 outs. Brandon Barnes came into right field last half inning for Carlos Gonzalez. So as soon as we have word on why Cargo had to leave, we will pass it along. 2 outs, nobody on. Barnes 0 for 2 and a walk yesterday. Had a double and a run scored on Friday. He scored yesterday when he walked. He always finds his way into the middle of things. He has an impact.
I credit any guy that spends a year in the big leagues that goes back to minor leagues and then able to get back up here through hard work and got an opportunity again, and he's making it pay. 292 average.
Punch foul. And that's redirected to short, and Barnes is going to reach. That's going to be a hit. And he went off of the hand of Garza to Segura. And know Segura didn't field it cleanly, but he had to reroute a little bit to the baseball. It's got to be a hit. And it is.
Well, we talked a little bit about Nolan, what he has done this year against Milwaukee. It has been a Nolan Arenado party, and they have thrown it for him. It's been home runs, it's been doubles, it's been singles, it's been RBIs, it's been triples, it's been a little bit of everything for Nolan, and 478 average and 2 home runs.
On the ground to third, tough pickup by Ramirez, and he makes the play the short way to second to end the inning. So we'll go to the 6th inning. The Rockies leading 6-2 on this Father's Day 2015. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Ford Fusion. Power you want and good looks too. Ford, go further. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Beautiful day at the ballpark, and the scoreboard has the Rockies out in front 6-2 with George Frazier and our entire Root Sports crew. I'm Drew Goodman, again wishing every one of the dads out there a happy Father's Day. Got my youngest with me, Gabe. Got one across the way at Elitch's. George, are you a roller coaster guy?
Yes.
Strike one on Gene Segura.
Love that stuff. Georgia likes that stuff too.
She wanted to know, Georgia, he said you like roller coasters. Is that accurate? True. See, true statement. Left field, Rafael Noah.
Good idea. Get that first out here in the 6th inning. You got a 6-2 lead. Don't allow their offense to do anything.
Well, we have an update on Cargo. It's a mild sprain of the left hand. Now watch his left hand go up into the wall, and
all the momentum took it in, and if you feel like you can't swing that bat or throw it with so much movement of that wrist, it makes a big difference. All of his body weight went right into the wrist.
that's a strike also, 0-2.
What Parra's complaining about? Is he hot?
Parra, a .324 career hitter in the minor leagues. He came up with Cargo.
Same Little League team, right?
They go way back. Now, Johnny Herrera and Cargo played Little League together. Started playing when they were about 5 years old together. And Maracaibo. Johnny with the Cubs. The Bean. There's a Rockies fan. George, why have you not broken that out yet?
Somebody bring me that hat. I'll put it on. Let's go.
Cutters in or sliders in. 2-2. You know, with Barnes playing, and Barnes came up when Drew Stubbs was sent out. Drew really struggling with the strikeout. Looking at Drew's numbers down in AAA, better. He's making progress. Hit 257 down there. Slow roller to Troy. He's got a hustle with Parra running, and that throw went in the camera well, unfortunately. So Parra will end up at second base. It'll probably be a base hit, and then the error allowing him to move up 90 feet.
6th error of the season on Troy Tulowitzki. He got to the baseball, the exchange, and a quick flip over just off accuracy there a little bit. Goes up into the camera well on the Subaru Supermo. Yeah, maybe you got him, maybe you don't. It's going to be a close play. Hit and an error. Tulo not happy.
And just Tulo's second in his last 32 games. So with one out, Parra's at second. Ryan Braun hit the triple where Cargo had the hand jam up against the bottom part of that cushion. That's back up the middle off of Russin, and Russin will recover and get the out at first. Nice job by Chris. Took it off the chest area.
3rd ball he's been able to make a play on today. Yeah, Tulo and, or excuse me, Arenado and Parra talking a little bit about it. Not sure what that was about. A lot of pointing and talking going on. Hey, Rockies Dugout Stores, the place for all things Rockies, with the best selection of Rockies merchandise and tickets, plus exclusive new Peanuts bobblehead or of the month.
There's an animated conversation, but it certainly didn't look, obviously it didn't look like anybody was mad at one another. Jonathan Lucroy robbed of a hit that would have driven in a run his last time up on a leaping catch by DJ LeMahieu. On Lucroy. Rockies up 6-2. Russin with just 79 pitches here as he works in the 6th inning. That's a real good number. You
got Lucroy to line out. Remember that great play made by DJ. Leaped up and caught the line drive at second base. That was the first out after Braun's triple. A lot of ground ball outs today. Well, Chris, see if he can get another one here.
Not surprisingly, he gets the green light, 3-0.
Yeah, down 6-2, very good hitter. Where you are in your lineup, better turn him loose.
This ball's hit well to left field, deep part of the park, and Noah can't get it, and it's a ground rule double. So that makes it 6-3 as Parra scores.
Because of the injuries, Lucroy's missed a lot of time. That was his 12th error, or excuse me, 12th RBI of the season. Look at the flight of this baseball. I'm not sure Noah recognized how far this ball was going to carry out into left center field. As it bounced up into the seats, Steve Foster's out to visit. There's not much action down in the Rockies bullpen as of yet. There's getting ready to be. Here's Christian Friedrich, the left-hander, who has got the phone call.
So Ramirez comes up after the meeting. Ramos pop out and a ground out. He did drive in a run with a roller to the right side in the 4th inning.
I hope they get out of this inning.
Strike on the inside corner. And this is popped up right side. Easy play for Ben Paulson. He's got it. And as we go to break, it's a 6-3 ball game.
You ask, you shall receive.
That's a good
It's
look
a
for you.
beautiful
That is a
thing.
good look for you.
Yeah, see, Drew, you got to get out on the edge every now and then. You got to step out there, let yourself go every now and then. It's fun.
No argument.
And we're winning 6-3.
No argument. Bottom of the 6th inning. Ben Paulson, Nick Hundley, and Rafael Noah in the 6th inning. Matt Garza is still out there. Chris Russin has given up 3 runs in 6 innings. Great to see the gorgeous weather return to Colorado. Kind of a rough spring, wasn't it? Ben Paulson, a strikeout and a ground ball to short for Ben.
Yeah, still kind of rough around parts of the country.
Paulson had a pinch hit single to drive in a run yesterday. That's one way to keep cool. She's causing problems though with the spritzer, huh? You think? That's going to drop. That's a weird one, man. That was off the end of the bat, a kind of high floating, half pop, half. I don't know how you describe it, but it landed in right center field for a base hit. So Paulson's aboard. He'll take it.
Well, that's why a lot of people say this game evens itself out. The line drive outs, the deep catches against the wall, all those things have a way of evening themselves out. This ball gets into the outfield and drops in front of Ryan Braun.
Nick Hundley's been perfect today. 2 singles, 2 runs scored, and he also has thrown out a stolen base. Swing by Hundley. Well, Willeen Rosario has a bat just in case. Chris Russin also a bat. Chris has again worked 6 solid innings. And the pitch count is a little above 80.
Boone Logan's warming up down in the bullpen. You know, I've always been on it, regardless of what situation you're in at Coors Field, and again, this 19 years of watching baseball here. Get a starter, gives you 6 innings, and you got a 8-man bullpen, you better get the last 9 outs. Your starter's done his job. Chris has done his job. There's Boone Logan warming up down in the bullpen. All Garza did. He turned this into an American League start. Working in the bottom of the 6th. He's due up 4th after the 6th inning.
I really thought when the Rockies went out and got Nick Hundley that fans would gravitate to him. First of all, he's a great guy, number 1. Number 2, he brings a great work ethic and a great passion for the game to the field every single day. And it's been a really good pickup for this organization. He's hitting above 290. Handled his pitching staff well. Of course, there's been some guys that had to be inserted, with Lyles going down, with Tyler Matzik being sent out, Eddie Butler sent out. This is a guy that's had to learn on the fly. And this ball's driven to right center field. Nick's got his 3rd hit of the ball game. This one will be extras. And a green light for Ben Paulson, and no throw. It's a run-scoring double for Nick Hundley. And the Rockies have hit the 7th spot. They're up 7-3.
How about that? Hundley 3 for 3, 2 runs scored, now a couple of driven in. That's been kind of fun to watch for Nick in this ball game. High fives to Ben Paulson in the dugout on the Subaru Supermo. Pounded him away, and Nick finally made him pay for it. Drove it into right center field. Carry 1 hop, 2 hops, grabs the wall. Parra will get to the baseball, get it back in again. Noah's there. Chris Russin has stepped out in the on-deck circle.
Nick's now 7 for 14 lifetime against Garza.
And in this situation, you're looking over in the dugout, that you wonder, you saw Rosario step out. Here's a soft fly ball that may drop. Everybody playing.
This is a tough play off the glove of Perez. Hundley's going to stay at second. And that's where, when people talk about Coors Field, it's less about the home runs and more about the ground one has to cover. Braun couldn't quite get there, and Perez running with his back to the infield. It goes off his glove. It's a base hit for Enoa, his 2nd hit of the ball game.
A tough play. You're looking back up into the sun. You're chasing after it, and then able to try to attempt to get leather on it. Perez cannot do it. Rick Kranitz is out to the mound right now, and they will go to Rosario and allow him to hit. I thought with the short bench they might not do that, because they'd already used Barnes down to 3, to go ahead with nobody out and let him run there. Coca-Cola value packs are the best deal in town. Available every value game, including June 23rd through the 25th when the Diamondbacks are in town, for either $59 or $79, depending on the seat location. Call today and make that reservation. The Rockies today have taken care of business in this situation. They're 4 for 7, while the Brewers are just 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. That's going to end the day for Chris Russin, but man, what a great job he did out on the mound today. 6 innings. He gave up 7 hits, 3 runs. Let the Rockies get into this. Rosario has been a very good pinch hitter for the Rockies coming off of the bench.
See that pitch. It's 0-2.
See if he goes back to the slider. That was the one swing and miss that Rosario had on that pitch.
In the air to Braun and right. Hundley will tag, but it's not deep enough to advance. 1 out. That'll bring up Charlie Blackmon. Charlie's driven in 3 this afternoon. He drove in 3 last night, actually yesterday afternoon. And he drove in a run on Friday night, a 7 RBI weekend for your leadoff hitter, no less. 29 ribbies for Blackmon. Hundley at second, Rafael Inoa's at first. Outside, ball 1. The Rockies have had one of those days, George, we've been talking a lot about, where they put up multiple runs in multiple innings. 7 runs, 12 hits. They've scored 3 different frames today. This ball hit hard, base hit. Nick Hundley around third. He's coming home. The throw will go to third. Inoa is safe. Moving to second. Blackmon is safe. Charlie Blackmon, a season high 4 RBIs. And the Rockies lead 8-3.
A lot of these have been hustle hits. A lot of these have been the ability to continue to move on when the run has been, throws have been placed maybe to the wrong base, but the Rockies have swung the bats today. 13 hits now, 8-3 ball game. That'll be it for Garza. Garza had a tough day again today against the Colorado Rockies.
That long walk off for Matt Garza. The Rockies up by 5. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Tavern Downtown. Visit Tavern Downtown after Rockies home games. Get 2-for-1 draft beers with your same-day ticket. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Budweiser, make a plan to make it home. Rockies enjoying an 8-3 lead on this Father's Day. It's the bottom of the 6th inning. The veteran Neil Kotz is on board from the left side. It'll be his 29th appearance.
A little surprising to me that they brought him in to face two right-handers, DJ LeMahieu and Troy Tulowitzki, here in the 6th inning.
Now, part of it is perhaps, George, he hasn't pitched in 4 days, and it's a situation where they're down by 5.
You got 2 more innings to do that. You want a shutdown inning right now, you bring in the right-hander to face the two right-handers.
LeMahieu 1 for 3. Infield's in. 2 ribbies out there for DJ. Let's check our Lowe's Never Stop Improving stat. In the month of June, 3 Rockies have scored a bunch of runs. DJ, Nolan Arenado, Charlie Blackmon, 3 of the top 5 in the league in runs scored. Stanton and Frazier, they just drive themselves in. Inside. It's 3-1. Tulo's on deck. Tomorrow, the first off day in a while. Rockies play day after day for about 2.5 weeks. Arizona will be in Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday afternoon. And the Rockies will head to the West Coast, set up shop in Union Square in San Francisco. They'll play 3 against the Giants, stay put, make their way across the Bay Bridge, play 3 against the Oakland A's.
Yeah, things right now is going on in San Francisco. Jake Peavy started last start, 7 innings, 3 runs in AAA. Matt Cain, 4 innings, 2 runs. They're coming back.
Ball 4. Now they're loaded up for Tulowitzki. Tulo has a ribby today, a base hit in the 3rd, 1 for 3 for Troy. Looking up and down the lineup. The Rockies have had a hit out of every spot. They got a sac bunt from Chris Russin. Cargo was 0 for 2 before leaving with the sore wrist, but his replacement Brandon Barnes has a hit. Brandon's on deck.
Kotz and Tulowitzki have never faced each other. After this at bat, Kotz may not want to face him again. Tulowitzki 2 for 5 this year with the bases loaded. The Rockies have hit 259 with the bases loaded.
Got that Tulo chant going. 8 runs, 13 hits for the Rockies. With more than 5 runs in a game for the first time since June 8, 13 days ago. Good to see. That's a strike. 1-2. Noah at 3rd, Blackmon at 2nd, LeMahieu at 1st. Good speed aboard. And that's a base hit left center field. That'll get at least 2 home. And the Rockies have hit double digits. Make it 10-3. Tulowitzki with his 36th and 37th RBIs of the year. Patient at bat from Troy.
Finally got a pitch out over the plate. They were painting to the outside corner. He got one where he could do something with it, and it's a base hit up, and all those runs are going to score against Garza. Look at where this pitch is. Look how elevated that is. Well above it. Troy, an upright high ball, very good high ball hitter. Scalded that ball by Segura into the outfield.
So 10 runs, 7 earned against Garza. The first 3 the Rockies scored in the third were all unearned. It's a big hit to the ERA. Back-to-back games, Garza's given up 13 hits. 2-0 on Barnes. Three or more, George, for me in an inning, that constitutes a crooked number. 3 innings of crooked numbers for the Rockies on offense. And now it's 3-0 on Barnes. Most runs in a game for the Rockies since they beat the Cardinals 11-3 a couple weeks ago. And the bases are loaded again for Nolan Arenado. Neil Cox has faced 3 hitters. He's walked 2 and given up a 2-run single. And Craig Counsell says that's enough.
Well, I want to ask you a question. You got 3 right-handers coming up. It's 8-3. Why do you go to a left-hander to face 3 of the best right-handed hitters in the lineup?
You'll have to ask Mr. Counsell.
I mean, I'm looking at this going, I don't care. Hey, I don't care if he hadn't thrown in 4 days. He can throw in another tomorrow somewhere. You know, Counsell's going to make that switch. See where it goes here. Segura's going to come out, I think. Now, Hector Gomez is going to go play second base. Perez over to third base. Ramirez to the dugout.
Corey Knebel's going to come in. Hector Gomez has come into the ball game also. We'll sort it out in a moment. 10-3, Rockies up. By T-Mobile. Nolan Arenado got a hanging hook and he deposited it about 400 feet away. The seats and left his 17th home run of the year. And the Rockies have done a whole lot of swinging since then. They're up 10-3. They have 14 hits, and with Nolan coming up right now with the bases loaded, he's the 9th man to hit here in the 6th inning. And Corey Knebel's now in the ball game. Another change to tell you about. Hector Gomez, one-time Rocky farmhand, comes in at second. Hernan Perez goes to third, and the veteran Ramirez Aramis goes out. Bases full of Rockies. LeMahieu at third, Tulo at second, Barnes at first. And Arenado jumped at that pitch. It's 0-1. We saw Knebel, George, on Friday evening, and he had a solid inning, gave up just 1 hit, nothing else across.
He's got a big arm, there's no question about it. 15 strikeouts in 15 innings. He's walked 6. Left-handers, right-handers. Right now he's just trying to get an out.
That ball is rifled foul.
At 97 he turned on it.
The Rockies had a third baseman a while back that could turn on a bullet on the inside part of the plate. You see him every day. Vinny Castilla. The old line about Vin couldn't sneak the cheese past the rat, huh?
Yeah, first time I heard that, Gary Gaetti, and then it passed on to Vinny.
Another third baseman who could swing at Gaetti. Gary's son was in the Rockies organization as a minor leaguer for a little bit.
10th round draft pick, now working on the West Coast. Gary is managing Sugarland in the Atlantic League and loves it.
1-2 on Nolan. Kept the bat alive. Well, that's so tough when you talk about a 15-mile-an-hour difference, hard curveball. When a guy's throwing in the upper 90s.
But it also makes you as a pitcher think a little shaky too. Go, God, what am I going to throw this guy?
Nice message from Spilly to his dad. 1-2. That thing made it all the way back from the upper deck, George, to the playing surface. Made some friends along the way.
A lot of friends. They were all diving on top of each other.
Look at this thing. Hits off the facade of the upper deck. Ricochet once. Again.
And manager.
Down the line at third. And Perez turns the double play. 5-3. The Rockies hit around in the 6th inning. They score 4 times. They're up 10-3 as we go to the 7th. Could Lexus look back? Colorado's #1 volume Lexus dealer. I don't know if we have enough time to show you all the hits and runs this afternoon. Nolan is 17th home run of the year. Nick Huntley's had a big day, 3 hits. Nick has driven in a run. The Rockies with 10 runs on 14 hits. Charlie Blackmon 4 ribbies today, 3 yesterday, 8 in the series. Breakout day offensively for the Rockies. They needed this one and several more hopefully coming, where they continue to put up crooked numbers. Boone Logan is on to pitch the 7th inning. Rockies got a good outing from Chris Russin today, George.
Yes, they did. They got what the doctor ordered. 6 innings pitched in the game. Kept you right where you wanted to. Boone Logan's going to come on in relief, making his 29th appearance. 457 earned run average. Strikeouts 27, innings pitched 21. Pretty good mark up there on the numbers. You got 2 out of the 3 left-handers coming up for the Brewers. You know, started out with Lind, and then Ramirez out of the ball game, but Hector right-handed anyway. And then Peterson.
Solid outing from Russ in 6 innings, 3 runs, 7 hits. Did not walk anybody. He struck out a pair. So Boone's on. Adam Lind a double back in the 2nd inning and scored a run. Rockies have Justin Miller throwing. That get everybody?
Yeah,
pretty
the catcher
clearly got Jim Wolf.
Yeah, catcher and umpire. Misfire with the slider. Bam, got it right there on the thigh a little bit. Maybe caught the hand.
They tend to Jim Wolf. We'll remind you that everybody gets tacos tomorrow. The Rockies have hit that magic number of 7. So don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell location tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Two balls and a strike on Lynn as we resume. And then it's 3-1. And a walk to Lynn. So what Boone Logan wanted to do, and that'll bring up Perez. 1 for 2, a single to drive in a run in the 2nd inning when Milwaukee took a 1-0 lead. Stood up till the bottom of the 3rd when the Rockies scored 3 times. Milwaukee got a run back in the top of the 4th after a triple by Braun, and 3 more in the bottom of the 4th by the Rockies. One ball, 2 strikes. JD Martinez hit 3 home runs today for Detroit in the Bronx. Swung on and missed. Good job by Logan. He strikes out Perez. I want to go back yesterday. Max Scherzer, we showed it on our air, what an unbelievable performance again, as he was 1 out away from throwing a perfect game. In fact, 1 strike away. Now watch this slider and the movement of the pinch hitter Jose Tabata. George, we've all had an opportunity to watch it, I'm sure, a number of times. And then the next hitter, Josh Harrison, hits a fly ball to fairly deep left field. That cemented the no-hitter. And Scherzer was very gracious afterwards, said, nope, you know what, I hit him, and didn't think that the umpire should have stepped in there. Mike Malinsky said he made no effort to get out of the way of the baseball. In fact, intentionally got hit. And he could have ruled that and stayed there, and it's a 3-2 count. What's your take now after watching it a few times?
I didn't take it. I mean, again, I don't think he tried to get out of the way, but they're not going to call it. It's just not going to happen. I mean, they're just not going to do it. And again, you're talking about a ball coming in, even though it has slider spin, fastball 97, slider 89, your reaction to try to curl your way out of this thing. I mean, you got just a split second to either hang with it and try to put a swing on it. He'd fouled off 8 or 9 pitches.
Yeah, he'd fouled off 3 pitches prior. And I think the reason it's a little more, and I put this, I don't know if controversial is the right term, but that it's gotten a lot of play, is that he wears that heavy plastic elbow guard.
They all do.
Well,
90% seem like they got something.
Obviously not all of them do it, and you're not, it's not like you're sticking your bare elbow out there.
No, you're not doing that, that's for sure.
2-2.
By the way, Peavy went 6 and gave up 1. John Gray starts tonight. He has been on quite a roll.
Yes, he's pitched very well the last 10 starts. One out. And Peterson just got a piece of that.
Rex Brothers had been calling quite a role in Albuquerque till the other day, walking 4 in an inning. Let in 4 runs, all unearned.
For you, is it mechanical with Rex? We talked about Matzik being probably a mental thing.
No, with me with Rex, he got long a year ago, in my opinion. On the backside, got really long, and he got deep, and he got a real high tilt to his shoulder. He didn't have any downward plane on the baseball. And I can go back and remember he was 19 to 20 in saves with a 179 ERA, and shoulders stayed pretty level to the slope of the mound, and his arm was short, quick, and he had a real violent come at you, I'm going to get you out attitude at the finish of his delivery. And I thought for whatever reason, base hit up the middle. Charlie's going to have to get Chase here. They'll go first to third on him. He'll get it in though and keep the double play in order. I felt like whoever made the changes, and Rex probably went along with him, but whoever made those changes on Rex tried to smooth things out. And for a guy like him, that's a short, quick twitch guy, bad mistake in my personal opinion. It's taken him a little time to get that back. What Weiss says he's walking out towards the mound. You had mentioned earlier, Miller's warming up in the bullpen for the Rockies, getting a drink of water before he heads out to the mound. Walt's there, first and third, right-handed.
Yeah, and the disappointing thing for Boone is he struck out the right-handed hitter, but the 2 lefties he was unable to get a walk and a hit. First and third when we come back. 10-3 Rockies. 1,000, and the day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Just utilize the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. Official crowd 41,487. Rockies have called on Justin Miller.
Yeah, the right-hander is going to come in and try to get the rest of the job done here. Scooter Gennett will come on to pinch hit here. Heckner's not going to be able to get his at bat. Gomez, the former Rocky, got to play a little bit, but you're going to go left on right here. Scooter will go in the ball game and play second base.
And Miller rears back and fires it over the outside corner at 95 for strike one.
He could do a little bit of that. He's got a pretty good fastball.
Gennett just 1 for 14 against the Rockies this year, and he's in a ditch 0-2. It is 90 degrees at Coors Field. Yep. Need a fan. Fans need the fans. 2 strikes on Scooter Gennett. Got him.
Tell you what, you want to impress a manager regardless of what the score is. You get called to the big leagues, you come up with men on base, particularly at third and 1 out, and you go get a strikeout. It's big. Super Mo going to look at that breaking ball come in and disappear right off the table, and Scooter comes up empty-handed here.
A ball on Gene Segura. Up and in. Segura a single back in the third. He's 1 for 3.
Good player, played in the Dominican Republic for the El Giantes. They won the Dominican and went on to play in the Caribbean World Series. He's a starting shortstop on that ball club. Yeah, maybe that slider will work against Segura as it worked against Scooter, and it does.
Nicely done, Justin Miller. First and third, 1 out. Strikeout, pop out, no damage done. I'm sure Boone Logan appreciates that. It's 10-3 Colorado, middle of inning number 7. And on this edition of God Bless America.
The Colorado Rockies are proud to host and honor those who sacrifice on behalf of us all. With us on the field today is Commander David Terry. Commander Terry is retiring from the United States Navy after a 20-year career. After attending UCLA, he joined the Navy, where he flew multiple fighter aircraft and was selected to attend the prestigious U.S. Navy Fighter Weapons School, better known as Top Gun. During his 20-year naval career, Commander Terry amassed many awards, among them 3 Combat Strike Flight Air Medals and 2 Defense Meritorious Service Medals. Commander Terry is joined today by his wife Marnie and their 2 daughters Carter and Kennedy. Fans, please give a warm hero's welcome to Commander David Terry and all of our nation's brave servicemen and women and their families. We thank you for your service and sacrifice. Fans, Please rise as we honor our great country by the performance of God Bless America. Performing God Bless America today, representing the Colorado National Guard's 101st Army Band, is Sergeant Brian Person. Please welcome Sergeant Person and join him by singing along to God Bless America.
The Rockies leading 10-3, bottom of the 7th inning. Charlie Blackmon, 4 ribbies. Nolan Arenado has hit his 17th. Nick Hundley has had a perfect day offensively. You get the picture. The Rockies are enjoying their Father's Day immensely. Ben Paulson will lead it off. Ben had a base hit his last time up and scored a run. He slices this one foul and out of play down the left field line. Corey Knebel continues on. We got the final 2 outs last inning on a Nolan Arenado ground ball double play. And it's a 2-strike count. Nick Hundley's on deck's got the average back up to 298 with the 3 hits today.
By the way, I mentioned John Gray's throwing the ball much better. His last 9 starts, 3 and 2, 272 earned run average.
That's
much better.
Yeah, much better. He had a rough beginning to his season in Albuquerque, his first 4 starts. And that's a fair ball. Adrian Johnson indicates it's fair, and a flip from Adam Lynn to Knebel, 1 out.
Oh, you want to host a party on the rooftop? Ask about our Tuscan. How do you say that, Drew?
Tuaca Terrace Deck.
Tuaca Terrace Deck, pregame picnic area, the Tuaca Terrace Loft, or Shane O'Bana.
Cabana.
Is that
Shane
right?
Cabana.
Shane, where's that at? Where's that?
The Shane Cabana party area.
Where's that? Sam, where is it? Call today and make your reservation for one of those two places. Throw a little party up here.
Listen, it's a place where you have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you have a lot of fun. Look up there today. It's stacked up there. It was packed earlier. I think the 90-degree temperatures probably got a few people today.
That is one of the every day we look out, and that is one of the happening places in Denver. Every night of the week, filled to the brim. A lot of folks having a good time. Good way to start your day, start your evening. Catch the Rockies from up there. The rooftop. Inside. 2-1 on Nick. Three and one. Nick with his fourth hit of the ball game. That one's going to roll all the way to the wall. Hundley into second base. 2 singles, 2 doubles for the Rockies catcher.
And that average has now jumped to 302. It started the day at 387. Way to go, Nick.
Yeah, happy Father's Day, Nick.
Subaru Super Mo once again, fastball 96 miles an hour, just turned around into the gap, just set right on it. Still amazing to me, folks, how these hitters can turn that kind of fastball, the timing to have that kind of success that he has. Man, what a great job. Good job, Nick.
5th time in Nick's career he's produced 4 hits in a game. First time in a couple years, though. First time he did it, he was playing for the Padres. And it came at Petco Park against the Dodgers. $15 hits for the Rockies. Noah's got a couple hits. He scored 3 runs. One out, Hundley at second. Outside, 2-2 on Rafael Noah. Some guys just keep hitting home runs. Bryce Harper hit another home run today. Wow. The Nationals swept the Pirates. Battle of 2 real good teams. Frazier hit another home run. Keeps hitting home runs, you're going to claim him as a relative.
Already have. All righty, Mr. Miller's coming to the plate. He's had 1 other plate appearance in his career. It was in the minor leagues. He's 0 for 1. How about that?
Got a chance to be a 1,000 hitter in the big leagues with a knock, huh? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. Well, you probably get a few more. Keep throwing it where you are, you're going to get a couple more. Got the open stance. Got, man, he looks good right now. Let's see the swing.
Not
Oh,
bad.
I like it.
Not bad. You're trying to hit it out.
It's all right.
All that. Hey, might not have another opportunity till next year.
Relievers, you get up and you just take a hack. That's all.
Is that how hard I throw? That's what that looks like? That's what he's saying.
No, that's where you step out. I used to do that all the time. Step out and go, can you back it off a little bit? Now, don't throw me a slider. That'd be unfair. He did.
Well, he may have beaten the dugout under over. It may have been 3 pitches in the dugout. He's going to see a 4th. He's going to see a 5th. 2-2. Now either way, he's got a story to tell, right? You know what? I spit on a couple sliders. I worked it to 2-2.
You know what? He probably hit like 490 in high school with 20 bombs.
Right. That's a good hack.
That's a great hack. You kidding?
That's a good hack.
You kidding? He's got 1 other plate appearance.
Couldn't hold up. So the strikeout of Miller, good at bat for his first voyage to the batter's box in the big leagues. Rockies lead at 10-3. Happy Father's Day. Check this out. On the top left, that's Chad Bettis with his dad. And moving to the top right, that's DJ at a Cubs game. Growing up lower right, that's Troy on Christmas with his dad. And then Charlie Blackmon on a tractor. They've all grown up.
There's always something in your life that as you deal and go through it that you remember certain things you did with your dad. And every day now when you start to do things, it reminds you also of things you did with your father.
You know, and I know certainly for you, and the case for me also, so much of your memories surround this sport, whether it be playing catch or sitting at a ballpark with your dad or watching your favorite team with your dad. And I think that's the case for a whole lot of people, whether or not you make your living in the game or not. This is such a beautiful sport that's brought fathers and sons and Fathers and daughters together for generations, and it will continue to do that. Miller's 1-0 to Parra is fouled back. Justin got the final 2 outs of the 7th inning. Parra, Braun, Lucroy here in the 8th.
Christian Friedrich has started to throw down in the bullpen. Roxton has thrown in the Milwaukee bullpen.
That ball is hit well right center field. And that's going to run to the wall. Parra is going to stop at second with a double.
Inherited runners, big thing. You know, there's a lot of things running through his mind right now, but that fastball was up. Parra just set on it and drove it into the right center field gap off of Miller. Going to be returned back to the infield by Charlie Blackmon to keep it a double. You know, when I put the pink hat on a minute ago, George is here, just took a picture and threw it out on Twitter. So now I'm getting texts from my sons. Dad, why did you do that again? And I just text back, you should know why.
Exactly. They expect such behavior.
Exactly.
That's why we love you. You know what team's starting to play pretty well, George? Team coming in here Tuesday, Arizona. They won today at home 7-2 behind Hellickson. This ball's to left center field. And it'll be back-to-back doubles for the Brewers. 10-4.
Braun's 44th RBI.
That'll bring up Jonathan Lucroy, but Arizona now just a game under 500. Again, they'll be in here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon. Christian Friedrich throwing.
Yeah, and you'll see Alan Webster's right-handed pitcher that was in Reno got called up. He's had a couple of pretty good starts. Had been in the big leagues with Boston a little bit. He'll start Tuesday, or excuse me, Wednesday's ball game.
Brewers will have tomorrow off. They'll head home. They'll take on the Mets beginning on Tuesday. DJ shading his eyes. I don't know if he sees this. Now he does. Wow. That's a tough play. He is just a phenomenal fielder. I don't think he saw that till very late. So time for our CenturyLink link to what's next. Here's the pitching matchups with the Diamondbacks coming to town. Kendrick and Chase Anderson Tuesday. Wednesday evening, Alan Webster and David Hale. And on Thursday afternoon, the Battle of the De La Rosas. Jorge for the Rockies and Ruby will go for Arizona.
Well, their main pinch hitter off the bench, Jason Rogers. He's pinch hit 27 times this year, 8 hits, 1 home run and 4 RBIs. Very productive in that role.
And then he takes strike 1.
You know, Patrick Corbin started in Double-A. Remember the lefty that had such a great year for the Diamondbacks, coming back from Tommy John. He's had 3 starts now. Good 6 innings the other day, 3 runs given up in Double-A. Archie Bradley with a little sore shoulder. He'll be back soon. Headache.
And the 1-1 is popped up in foul ground. Nolan. Boy, he wanted badly to climb into the stands again.
Right, he did do that.
He hasn't visited the stands in about 3 weeks.
if he'd have crawled up on top of that tarp and caught it, it wouldn't have surprised me. Not everything else he does.
He's a big liar too, because remember he made the circus catch over the tarp earlier this year, and he said, "You know what? Wow, that was scary. I'm never doing that again." And then like a week later, he was hopping in the stands again. Instincts take over. 1-2 on Rogers.
Yeah, it's funny. They're playing a lot better baseball. Trumbo's not in the lineup anymore.
Up in Seattle.
Big bat. Seattle made a move with their hitting coach.
They went to a guy they wish they could suit up and allow to hit as opposed to being their hitting coach, Edgar Martinez.
Howard Johnson reassigned to the minor leagues.
Two outs on the high fly ball by Rogers to Barnes, and that'll bring up Adam Lind. And Christian Friedrich will be called upon now by Walt Weiss. So we'll take a break. 10-4. The Rockies leading in the 8th inning.
You know, we ended up winning it, but it was funny because my dad, we were all celebrating, and you know, obviously, if you win now, you have like champagne showers. We were doing like apple cider showers when we were kids, so my dad would like spray us all, and it was pretty fun. And that was like one of the best days of like my life.
You know, you played it for fun back then, and Nolan still plays it for fun. And George, you played a long time. It's sometimes hard. There's so much pressure. You're talking about just how these guys make their living. First of all, there's the pressure to get here, the pressure to stay here when you get here, and then the pressure, hopefully, to get, you know, handsomely paid. And then there's the fun part, and you have to play with, you have to play loose to have fun, and you have to play with that intent. Otherwise, you're not going to play well. All those things are tied together to when you were a little leaguer, right?
I guess the best way for me to answer that is I always told myself when the game was not fun for me to play anymore and it became a job, I'd retire, and I did. It became hard, my body, to keep it in shape the way I needed it to have the success that I wanted to at the level I've had in my career.
This is pulled toward DJ. That's routine. Don't get out of your chair. That's routine. He's amazing. Great play by LeMahieu to take a hit away from Adam Lind and keep Ryan Braun from scoring. 10-4, the Rockies lead, middle of 8. our entire Root Sports crew wishing you a happy Father's Day. Who Wants Tacos fans, follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special and the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Well, this guy at the plate's had a good Father's Day. Charlie Blackmon. He's driven in 4. And an RBI ground out in the 3rd, a 2-run, 2-out single in the 4th, and then an RBI single in the 6th. He's also scored a run. Facing big Jonathan Broxton. Held up. 2-0. Knebel went 1 2/3. No runs, a hit. No walks. He struck out 1. 3-0. Rockies saw Broxton on Friday, a 9-5 Milwaukee win. They scored a run off him. In fact, Charlie hit a triple to drive in that run against Broxton on Friday. That's a strike. And ball 4. So Charlie works out a walk. Rockies have had 18 base runners today. Is that any good?
18 of them and 10 score. That's outstanding.
DJ is 1 for 3, an RBI single in the 3rd. Also a walk for LeMahieu. Lynn the soft hold at first, and this is a bouncing ball to second. Double play. Well, Daniel Descalso is going to pinch hit for Troy with this game hopefully decided. 10-4 the score. Troy had a big day, 2 for 4, 3 ribbies for Tulowitzki, and Descalso will take his place here in the 8th inning and then go in and play shortstop in the 9th. Descalso hitting 235s, hit a couple home runs. 1 ball, 1 strike on Daniel, and that one didn't feel good. So we'll go to the 9th inning. The Rockies looking for 3 more outs. They're up 10-4 on the Brewers. Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price and sales and service guaranteed. By Saratoga Casino, so new, so you. And by StubHub, Rockies fans, next time you need great seats, get to StubHub without the surprise fees. On a gorgeous Sunday afternoon, Father's Day 2015, the Rockies up by 6 runs. As Christian Friedrich will try to get the last 3 outs, a Twitter postgame show will immediately follow. Jenny Kavnar's there, and a happy Father's Day to Ryan Spilborg. Spilly?
Thanks, Drew.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Coming up on the Toyota postgame show, we have plenty of offense to talk about today. Charlie hit me. He has 7 RBIs in the last 2 games. That's pretty good. We're also going to talk defend DJ. Great defense from DJ LeMahieu, but you got to defend him and get him in the All-Star game.
Yeah, you got to defend DJ and get Nolan Arenado. And on Father's Day, the Father of the Year goes to me, but the dad that came with it today goes to Nick Hundley, 4 for 4.
That's right, a career day for Nick Hundley. We'll talk about it all coming up in the Toyota postgame show, and Jeff Houston will join us with an interview on the field. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
I love when Spilly gives himself awards. That's outstanding. Spilly's a great dad. Daniel Descalso, as we discussed, pinch hitting for Tulo, stays in the ball game at shortstop. Christian Friedrich remains on the mound. And Perez will be the first up here in the 9th inning. He's 1 for 3 and an RBI hit back in the 2nd inning.
Good slider. That or cut fastball. Really worked well under the bat. Still in 4 pitches. 3 have been strikes so far in the ball game.
Going to drop in front of Inoa in left field, a base hit. Shane Peterson's got a couple hits. He's 2 for 3. Whoa. One ball, 1 strike. And that's there. So it goes to 2-2 on Shane Peterson. Peterson's gone. 1 out in the 9th. Gonna bring up Scooter Gennett. Gennett struck out his first at bat. He pinch hit and stayed in the ball game at second base. He pinch hit for Hector Gomez. Hector went out there for an inning defensively and Never had an opportunity to hit. From a Rocky farmhand. Is this hit hard enough for two? There's one. There's two. Ball game over. And the Rockies take 2 of 3 from Milwaukee. And they win on this Father's Day in convincing fashion. 10-4 over the Brew Crew, pounding out 15 hits. They got a very solid start from Chris Russin. He gets the victory. Matt Garza falls to 4 and 9. Charlie Blackmon 4 ribbies. Nick Hundley had 4 hits. DJ did his normal work on both sides of the baseball. It was a terrific afternoon all the way around. I know more than 41,000 certainly enjoyed it. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Well, rather than single out one individual, how about the entire roster offensively? You get 10 runs and you pound out 15 hits. Everybody's deserving. Nolan had his 17th home run of the year. Charlie, a 2-run single right there. The Rockies' biggest output offensively in 13 days since they beat the St. Louis Cardinals by putting up 11 runs. So a good day for the Rockies. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. The Rockies win it over Milwaukee 10-4 this afternoon. To center field we go. Here's Jenny and Spilly. Guys.
All right, Drew, thanks so much. The Rockies end 17 straight games with a victory. They get a well-deserved off day tomorrow.
They needed a laugher.
They got it, and the series win. We'll be right up with the Toyota postgame show. This guy.